Most creators have an audience, but no series of steps of how you are actually monetizing your audience once they actually come into your ecosystem. So whether you're growing on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, once someone hits the subscribe or they try to learn more about you, there's no really strong system there on the back end that is actually effectively monetizing your audience. And that's a huge problem because you could have hundreds of thousands of followers, and just simply from networking with different creators, there's creators who have millions of followers who barely make any money. And that's a huge red flag and a problem and a strong sign that you actually need to do something about it. The whole purpose of this video is going to be how you can effectively monetize your audience, especially if you have a huge problem right now where you have a massive following or you're growing a personal brand, but at the same time, there's nothing really there happening to increase your revenue, right? Because as your followers go up, your money should also go up at the same time. So if you stay till the end, I'll show you exactly what creators are doing wrong and how their frame of mind is actually totally incorrect when you look at social media and how you actually grow your brands. And then once you understand that, I'll tell you exactly how I'm approaching this currently by working with the creators to effectively monetize the audience to make as much money as possible. And just so you have a little sprinkle of a secret of what we're going to be talking about, it's really just the sequence of offers and the steps people take to actually hand you more money. At the end of the day, you want your followers to hand you money because you're not a charity, and there's probably a reason why you're doing this. Unless this is a full-time hobby and you don't mind people just coming and watching you for free, that is totally fine. But if you're actually expecting to make some sort of money and increase your bank account in terms of how much you're earning, then you ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to have your followers producing you some sort of money, and you can have some sort of actual metric to measure. So the more followers you're growing, the more views you're getting, you can predictably know how much money you're going to make next month and so on, because this all compounds at the end of the day. So let's get right into the screen. I'll show you everything, the strategy, how I am approaching this with a current creator I'm partnered up, and how you can also approach this too. Let's get right into it. Don't focus on building the personal brand. Do this instead. And what I mean by that is the system and what happens when people actually enter your ecosystem. So when I say ecosystem, what I mean is the content you're producing across channels. What happens when someone actually clicks a link? Are you taking them to a product? Are you taking them to an app? Are you taking them to a lead magnet? Like, what are you doing after that, right? That's usually where a lot of people go wrong. And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, the reason why they're not making money with their personal brands. So really, the followers are not the business. As you can see on some platforms, they're testing the whole thing behind followers. Like really at the end of the day, it's just a status symbol, because there are people out there who have just literally a couple thousand followers, like 5,000, and still they're producing bank, right? It's absolutely crazy. So the followers aren't really the reason why you're not making money. It's really just the offers and the sequences of steps that people usually take once they enter your ecosystem. Once again, when I say ecosystem, it's when they enter your sphere of influence. So how the algorithms are presenting all your content to them across different channels, whether you're in an email list, whether say they have some sort of contact, whether you're watching and monitoring their stories, you're getting some sort of reminders. Once you enter, or once a follower enters your ecosystem, that's what I mean here. The best ecosystem, by the way, is the email list, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So most creators have attention, right? That's like one of the number one things you have to do. It's really just a top of the funnel play strategy that once you have the attention, you have a lot of leverage, right? Because once you have attention, you can pretty much acquire customers for free. That is massive, especially as paid advertising is getting more and more expensive on various different platforms. So whether you're advertising on Facebook, TikTok, you're doing some sort of influencer marketing or something like that, a lot of these platforms, as the bigger they get, as more people discover these various different new advertising methods and strategies that you can apply, obviously the floor to enter is going to raise, unless you're maybe new to a certain market, or maybe say you are new to a certain vehicle that offers advertising. It's going to be cheaper. But as a general rule of thumb, a lot of these platforms are going to get really, really expensive. So the biggest leverage that creators have is that you already have the attention, right? You already have the attention. People are watching. You probably are nailing some sort of format that is going extremely viral. And if, by the way, you're not a creator and you're a business that you're doing the same thing, like this also applies to you too, right? But nonetheless, if you have already the attention and you're just milking and raking views, then that is the constraint here, why you're not producing as much revenue as possible. So I did mention before, but this is a video of me also sharing my approach of how I am currently doing this with a content creator. This creator does have a couple 100,000 followers, so it's not no small creator. It is a pretty massive creator. This person also does get quite a bit of views on some of the videos. So it's a real case study in terms of how I'm approaching this what we're doing and how we plan on monetizing the audience as effectively as possible. And in a future video, what I can do is once we get some more results, once we get some actual real live data, I can also talk about it in a future video. But nonetheless, I'm going to continue on with the video and just telling you and sharing how I'm approaching this so you can maybe apply it yourself, see if there's anything useful you can extract from it. So at the end of the day, followers are really just rented attention. You don't own this attention. That's what Facebook is trying to do. That is what TikTok is trying to do. That's what Snapchat is trying to do. That's what all these platforms are doing. At the end of the day, they're the ones acquiring the users and the customers, and then you are pretty much just renting attention from them. So the number one thing that you learn in, say, info businesses, internet marketing gurus, or whatever, is that this is not the asset, because the moment you get banned from any of these platforms, maybe say an algorithm changes, and then, or say your platform goes down, you hit a couple strikes, right? Or maybe say like most recently with the TikTok scare, right? TikTok almost became totally banned from America. And imagine how many people right now, or like there were so many people that were scared of that, right? I had some close people I was associated with who had some massive follower accounts on TikTok, and they were really concerned because what happens when, say, all your attention is on TikTok and then all of a sudden some sort of government ban can pretty much remove your number one driver of revenue, right? Like that can be catastrophic to your financial security, like how you move on a daily basis, right? You can create a lot of stress. So the way to mitigate that is by not purely relying on these platforms, and more so figuring out how you can not just rent attention, but own the customer, own the access point to someone, right? And that starts with the email list, because a lot of people in these internet marketing businesses, they have it all completely backward. They're not focused on actually building the email list. And I know email marketing doesn't sound crazy or sexy at all, and because it really isn't at the end of the day, right? It's one of the most effective ways how you can make money online. And believe it or not, email marketing has some of the highest ROI. From every dollar spent on email marketing or just email campaigns, you make $44 back, which is insane. And it's the highest ROI from any other form of marketing you can do, which is insane, right? So emails are still king. Everybody still uses emails. But emails is the gold standard. You want to figure out how to start collecting emails, because once you can do that, you can contact your customer anytime, because some people may be only on YouTube. Some people might be only on Instagram. Some people might be only on X. For instance, I don't use a lot of platforms. I'm mostly on, say, YouTube and X, and that's about it, right? Everything else, you will not catch me on that. So if you still want my attention, if you still want me to buy from you, if you still want me to find out what you do, you best believe you better figure out either how you can be on all platforms, or you can actually own the email list. But before that, you actually have to have a reason why I should subscribe to that. So a big problem that a lot of people, especially creators like now, especially with drop shippers, especially people entering software, SaaS, mobile apps, the common playbook is that you have the audience and then you're pretty much just marketing a product, or you're just attaching a product to the audience, so then you can sell them, right? So whether it's an app, whether it's a mobile app, whether it's, I don't know, something else, you're just driving the audience into the product. But let me tell you why this fails, because if you do that, you are not collecting any sort of email list. Because sure, you could have a massive user base, right? You could have an awesome user base, but how many of these people actually subscribe to email marketing, right? To marketing promotions. If you're not doing that, then that number is probably zero. And if you're actually trying to email market to your user base without them opting into you, then that kind of crosses some gray areas depending on what country you're in and if it's legal in your country, if you can actually use their emails to start email marketing, right? In a lot of countries, you actually can't do that. So you have to have a way how you can actually collect their contact information or some sort of point of contact where you can tell them about other offers or things that you're or other things that you're doing, so you can have more opportunities to sell them and communicate information with them. So the proper way is to send the people from a platform you are to a sort of email collection mechanism, and then from there to your offer. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're sending them to a landing page. You can do that. That is one way. But what you can do is, like, let's take it for instance with maps. Like if you're in mobile apps and say you're a creator with a mobile app, you can still take people to the mobile app, but best believe somewhere in your onboarding, you should have an opt-in for an email list. So, hey, like right before you complete your profile, do you want to enter this email list for marketing promotions or get some sort of free result? Like, hey, do you want to get this free ebook if you sign up to the marketing list, like right before they complete their onboarding? If you have processes and steps like this, guess what? You actually now own the email. So it doesn't matter whether, say, you are sending traffic into an app, a web app, a book, or whatever. Figure out if there's any way before you actually deliver the full value to collect their email, because it's free. Also give them a reason why. Maybe they can enter a giveaway. Maybe they can enter offer and get some sort of free ebook, some sort of free information. Maybe they are entering a raffle. I don't know. Figure that out for yourself. Give them a reason why to sign up to your email. Maybe it's a 10% discount, something like that. For instance, I grew over 40,000 emails when I was doing one of my e-com stores. And one of the simplest ways how I did that is I simply offered them a 10% discount. Like, hey, if you sign up to my email now, I'll give you a 10% discount off your first order. And a lot of people took that bait, and guess what? It was amazing. So what happens after they click, right? And the key question you want to ask yourself is what happens after they click to the thing, right? So whether you are baking in your marketing for your product into the videos, or whether, say, you're sending the traffic from a link on your page to an offer, what happens after that? Because if nothing happens and you're just taking them to the product to buy and that's it, well, you're just getting sales, sure, but try selling them something else after that. Are they getting taken to, say, an upsell sequence, a downsell sequence? Are you able to contact them in the future for maybe some sort of subscription offer, or maybe a one-time event you're throwing? If you don't have any sort of contact mechanism other than, say, stories or, say, maybe your social media, well, then that's a problem. If, say, you only do like a 24-hour post, or maybe, say, someone's busy, they're away, maybe they're not paying attention to what you got, maybe the algorithm changed. People change, right? So do algorithms. So if you have no sort of way how you can capture attention and easily contact them, well, then you're kind of screwed. Whereas, say, if you have a proper funnel, if you have a proper model here of sequence of offers and steps that you can take people through, you can more effectively market, communicate, and offer people more value so they can buy from you. And at the end of the day, I mean, Alex Hormozi is probably like one of the biggest faces preaching the whole idea behind money models at the end of the day. So I'm not saying like this is something totally invented by me, but nonetheless, like this idea has been around for a minute, right? It's been around for a long time in the internet marketing world. It's really just the same thing at the end of the day. It's just a funnel, right? The dude, Russell Brunson, he's pretty much the big guy, the big OG who pretty much popularized the whole idea behind what a money model at the end of the day is. But really all it really is just a lead magnet, which is pretty much a free deliverable you can give someone. So like an ebook, maybe a training video, maybe a free set of emails you send to people, whatever it is, which then eventually takes them to the next offer or something. So it doesn't have to necessarily follow this exact set of steps, but it can, right? Because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're sending someone so they spend more with you. And the whole idea here of a money model is to pre-qualify the person into the next offer you have. Because think about it, if someone walks up to you in the middle of New York and they say, hey, buy my $1 million program, you're going to think this person is fucking crazy, right? But for some people, like say Tony Robbins, say some people like, I don't know, Tai Lopez, if you've ever heard of these people, believe it or not, when you go to their events, it's just a money model. It's just a way to how to ascend the customer. Because I was one time at a Tai Lopez event. If you don't know who Tai Lopez is, this guy he's the in my garage guy with the Lamborghini. And what this guy did at the end of the day is he was getting people into this live event, which I paid somewhere around 2 to 3K to attend at the time. And guess what he did at the end of the event? At the end of the event, he pitched a whole entire crowd that was there, all super high qualified buyers of I think it was like 100K a year offer where you can be in his warm room, right? It's ridiculous, but guess what? People bought. And that's how this works. You can make more money per customer if first off they qualify, and two, you have something to offer them. Because the moment you stop at, say, your mobile app or your free ebook, that's the maximum lifetime value you have. Whereas, say, if you offer them also a community subscription offer, which you can continuously keep on milking them depending on how big or low your churn is, right? That'll really determine how much money you can actually make. What happens after that? Can you offer maybe, say, coaching? Can you offer services? Can you offer, say, I don't know, some sort of cross-sell where if this doesn't make sense, can you offer them, say, a different offer? So you see what I mean? This is what I mean by a money model, or what, like a sequence of offers you can offer someone in a funnel. And believe it or not, a lot of creators don't have this. They just have a simple link to a website with a bunch of offers. It's kind of like a gallery, and they expect to make a shit ton of money just by sending people to that, right? While sure, on one hand, it can work and some people are making decent money with that, you effectively, at the end of the day, you want to have a proper funnel, direct all traffic to a simple source of truth. And then from there, it really depends on what you do after that, because there are funnels out there that exist. And I've seen a lot, and through just studying a shit ton of these, where it's a simple offer with a free lead magnet, or maybe some sort of low ticket offer there, where then it pre-qualifies the person into a high ticket offer. And these print like bank, like 7 figures per month. It's crazy. And the greatest marketers, greatest creators that are making the most amount of money now are when they actually, because at the end of the day, like you already have the viral views, you already have the audience, the attention online. So the most effective way how you can actually monetize your audience is by using the viral videos, the viral formats you have, bake in an offer, which is the hook, into the viral video, figure out how the offer can actually collect the email. And then now, once you have the actual email, you can put these people into the backend to sell them more things. Community offers, more SaaS, more consulting, maybe say some sort of, put them into a webinar funnel. Maybe you can say, put them into some sort of other offer you offer. Maybe you can even offer affiliate offers that you're partnered up with. It doesn't matter. You can do anything with your email list. But the most important thing is actually putting the person in the email list. But like I said, really the sequence here that you can apply, that great marketers do, is really just figuring out how you can combine and fuse your viral video with an offer that makes it feel very organic. And I'll show you some examples in just a moment. But you already have the hardest part solved, which is getting attention. A lot of people have to pay just to get attention by boosting posts, by learning the skill, how to go viral, or by renting someone's audience or earning their access into someone's audience. So when you buy your way in, what you're doing is you're paying for a platform or maybe a content creator to give you eyeballs on whatever you're offering. If you're earning yourself into something, it means, say, maybe you are friends with a creator, or maybe say you can partner up with a community of creators you're in where they all have audiences and you can just cross promote each other's offers. Like that's pretty popular on X, right? So you're either buying your way in or you're earning your way in, and you really have to just choose. And if you have your own audience, then you don't even have to worry about this. You could just pretty much use your own audience to promote stuff because it's just a launch pad. And then what really matters is what you're doing on the back end. So let's look at some actual examples of how some great companies, marketers, and some clever ways people are fusing products into viral distribution mechanisms. So listen, at the end of the day, these are just educational based. I'll show you some that are quite out of the box in terms of how people are approaching it, but they're getting millions of views and they work at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we just want to study what works. By all means, follow ethical practices, but you can study and learn from anything online. So first off, let's start with this one right here. So this is for an ebook. And the whole point of this is it educates the person on various different attachment styles. So this platform, I Mind Spirit, I don't know what their page is looking like right now, but clearly got couple 100,000 views, and it's really just a carousel. It's pretty much teaching about the various different attachment styles when it comes to like relationships and stuff like that. And then like they found a viral format, right? And then at the end they just post a video, or I'm sorry, they post a picture of their anxious attachment workbook, and this thing like went viral for some time. It was just going viral. They were literally just spamming this post, raking a shit ton of views. And then from there, just making a bunch of money on their e-commerce store. So it doesn't matter if you're in e-commerce, you're selling an e-commerce product, if you're selling a software product, it doesn't matter what it is. You can fuse these formats. So this is what I mean. You'd be like, hey, this is how you actually can promote a product. And then what you do from here, you would actually want to have a link or somewhere the person can click to buy, they get taken to it, and then they can purchase from it. So whether this is like on a quick one-time offer page or say, hey, like we're sending you this free ebook, click the email, let them purchase, right? Or if you're just directly sending them to purchase, make sure there's some sort of opt-in into the email list so you can actually collect that. Here's another one. So this is how like a recent trending viral format went absolutely viral. This thing went absolutely viral, got like 50 million views. But this is what dropshippers are doing, right?
What a retard. Oh my...
All right, so this is kind of goofy, but at the end of the day, these guys literally just used AI to just do something totally controversial, get a total shit ton amount of views on TikTok, and then they probably made a crap ton of money with this crappy drop shipping product, right? But I guess it's pretty cool, whatever. But that's one way how you can drive traffic, right? So here, really what I'm trying to do here with these examples is I'm trying to show you how you can fuse products and offers with viral formats that you're currently already doing, right? So then here's also like another one.
On the edge of your knife, staying drunk on your vibe. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found something so out of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground in sanctuary, trying to be with you. On the
So long story short, this is just another drop shipping product. And then here's something that Google did.
Remember how to solve for potential energy? No worries. Let's make it easier with Google search. First, find the lens icon in the Google app and snap a pic of the problem. Watch AI overviews break it down step by step. Just like that.
So I'm not saying like these are great campaigns, but like nonetheless, like this is kind of the idea here that you want to understand. the offer at the end of the day has to feel baked into the formats and the reels, the shorts, whatever you're posting that you're already posting. You don't want to change up anything too crazy, because at the end of the day, if it's working, it's just working. Spam those. But the way you bake an offer into it is just by making it feel organic. And the whole point of these front-end offers, when you're, say, pitching on social media, you're fusing it into your viral formats, is that these are front-end hooks at the end of the day. Because think about it. It's very difficult just to say sell coaching or like some sort of crazy high ticket offer, like a couple grand offer on, say, a TikTok post, right? But what you can do is you can start collecting a bunch of leads. So rather than, like, let's say you're in real estate and you're trying to sell big ass luxury homes, there are probably a very limited amount of people in the world who can buy a $10 million home, right? But if you're showcasing luxury homes, a lot of people are very interested in that. They're curious about what's actually in a $10 million home, right? In Beverly Hills, or if, I don't know, somewhere in the Hamptons, wherever. A lot of people are interested in that. So what can you do to actually start collecting emails? Because think about it, like, if some people are working towards that goal, they might be interested in you. So you're building and warming up your audience right now. So the best if you can figure out how you can capture their email. So for instance, maybe you can offer tax strategies for how to, I don't know, funnel money into homes and use them as assets, right? And you can make that a free ebook lead magnet, right? That could be one. Another thing that's quite popular for consumers is you can do quiz funnels. So let's say you sell some sort of personality test, right? Consumers love quiz funnels. So what we can do is, like, on your onboarding to your personality test, which is probably like a one-time consumable on your offer, or like for whatever you're doing, for a quiz funnel, you can build out a series of questions. People can fill out or select different options. And in exchange for their result, you can pretty much collect their email. Once you collect the email, you can generate them the result, show them maybe, say, some like partial results, and then everything else blurred out. And if they want to unlock everything, that's when they can purchase, right? So you're giving some sort of free information to a narrow problem that you've revealed to them, or maybe some sort of narrow information that's gotten them really curious. And then for the full entire report, they can pay for the full entire result. Like the Myers-Briggs, I forget what business is, but there's this one Myers-Briggs platform where they just literally sell Myers-Briggs personality tests, and they make millions per year just by simply selling personality tests. And they pretty much follow this quiz formula. Like, oh, hey, answer this information about you, and this is like kind of the free version of the personality test. But if you want to unlock the full entire version, then pay us this amount and we'll give you the full entire report. And then they have a bunch of different cross-sell offers, like, hey, compatibility with different personalities, what maybe something else deeper for a career. It really depends, but there's so many ways how you can take this. And then once you have the email, that's when you can actually build the back end. So whether you're upselling people directly after a purchase, so like, let's say, for instance, with the personality test, maybe you just sold someone the full version of the personality test. Maybe now you want to sell them, say, a compatibility personality test with other personalities, right? Like, now you're actually going into the relationship sides of like the human experience of, hey, am I compatible with these other personalities? That's a huge thing, right? Because people usually love doing that in, like, say, zodiac astrology, etc. Like the whole mysticism scene in personality tests, that's also like very popular. So you can use that as like a cross-sell or upsell offer. Or maybe, say, you can upsell directly after that a coaching offer. Hey, like, here's how you can unlock the most amount of money, or I don't know, most amount of opportunity, get the best jobs, whatever, with this personality test, or what kind of jobs you should look for, right? Like things like that. Or maybe, say, someone doesn't want the full entire personality test, but maybe they just want a certain portion of it. Like, okay, maybe I just want to know exactly about my relationships, like what kind of person am I? Who am I the best compatible with? So stuff like that. Or then maybe even a community. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. It's just really about, once you have the email list, you can, say, ascend people, apply tagging, segmentation. Once they buy something for $7 from you, for $5, whatever, now you can actually ascend them to more high ticket offers. It could be a course, coaching, some sort of consulting. Once you have the email list, it's extremely powerful. Now, I was preaching this in my last video, but sending cold traffic to subscription is quite hard. You know what I mean? That's why you'll see a lot of people in, say, like the mobile apps. Like now, mobile apps is like blowing up right now, right? A lot of people are pitching people or taking people directly into subscription offers, and then they're just trying to sell the full subscription year plan. Pitch that because you can make more money and just reinvest everything. And people aren't really paying attention to what happens after that. Because think about it. You just pre-sold someone a whole year's worth of subscription for $30, and then they're probably going to churn, especially if it's a shitty product. And then after that, what are you doing to do anything about that customer? Because you already did the hard part. You already got the customer in there. But what do you do after that? So that's why it's so important to have an email list, right? And there's many ways, like I said, there's many ways how you can fuse an email list or how you're collecting your email into your ecosystem. So whether you're sending them to a lead magnet for some sort of ebook, whether it's a part of some sort of funnel, like a quiz funnel thing, how you're doing that, or maybe say if someone purchases something directly from your e-commerce store and they can automatically check for, I don't know, some sort of free course that you're sending through email, or maybe say if they check the opt-in for the emails, you're sending some sort of other value. Figure out how to creatively fuse it into your funnel, because the email list, like I'm telling you, is extremely powerful. Because, this person over here, let's say they got someone to pay for like a monthly or a yearly, whatever. And then once they're gone, they're gone. Unless they discover you through retargeting, remarketing, or they see you again, or they decide to come back, that's the only time you're going to get them back. But if you didn't collect the email here, you're kind of fucked. And especially what you'll notice with a lot of content creators is a lot of them that in what they do in their bios is they just put a link to an offer, right? Like Linktree, a stand.store, whatever. That's not a proper funnel. It's really just, hey, this is what you got here. And sure, like maybe you can direct someone to an email list or you can collect an email there, but it's not a strong funnel. It's just as basic as it gets. Like if there's like different tiers to it, like S tier is probably having a super strong funnel where it's just an opt-in in exchange for some sort of lead magnet, right? But if you're talking lower, like a C tier kind of thing, then it's really just sending them to a stand store or something like that to purchase something. Maybe they have some sort of basic copywriting there. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does work, but it's not going to take you to say 100K a month or like even bigger in the most effective way possible. So let's talk about like another type of funnel you can consider creating with like this gardening creator, right? So let's say this gardener has hundreds of thousands of views and followers, right? They have some sort of viral format. And what they do is they offer to their audience, like after they create their viral gardening videos, oh, hey, by the way, this summer is expected to have a lot of diseases, crops dying. Here's a free book I've created for you to prevent your crop being devastated by diseases, right? That's a huge thing, especially for farmers. That's a huge pain point. So what they can do, their sequence of offers, how it can look like is like, hey, you give them this guide to prevent the diseases. Immediately, once they get the guide, there's a thank you page. And a thank you page is like, hey, do you want to get this course? This course is going to show you exactly the implementation of this ebook as a complimentary, like one-time offer. You could be like, hey, this is the ebook, right? Like you can do it yourself, whatever. But in this book, I'll walk you through how I am preventing diseases in my crop by applying the principles and the ideas in this guide. You see what I mean? It's complimentary and it fits as the next logical step by selling the actual implementation. So someone is more likely to buy this course. Once they buy this course, maybe say you've captured their email. 7 days later, maybe now you're hosting a webinar event. So a webinar with like a video sales letter, where at the end of it, you're pitching some sort of high ticket offer. It could be $1,000 coaching, could be say a $2,000, I don't know, transformation, whatever. 7 days later in your email, you're like, oh, hey, hope the course has been well. I'm throwing this live event. You should join. People join to the event. They opt in. At the end of the event, you pitch them. And you're like, hey, we're doing a summer reset. I'm just kind of making up this offer on the spot. We're doing a summer reset, making sure your crop is nice and healthy, producing as much yield as possible, disease-free, blah, blah, blah. Like whatever the outcome is that this gardener is selling to, you would pitch them the offer at the end, right? And then you try to get them into like a higher ticket offer. It could be like 2K, 3K, whatever. And as you can see here that I'm sending people, right? So some people are probably going to accept that. Some people are probably not. So if they accept it, maybe a couple of days later, you can offer, or maybe like a month later or so, you can offer them a community offer. Hey, by the way, I have this community where once a month I offer, say, these monthly Q&As. You can also be in a community with a bunch of other gardeners just as passionate as you about their crop, blah, blah, blah. Or you can even offer this community as a downsell. But here's the most important thing. You now have a recurring offer on the back end. So as you can see here, people are sending through different stages, what makes the most sense for them. You're making more money. So you're effectively increasing your LTV without relying on just acquiring new customers, but this is the same customer. Now you're putting them on a recurring offer where now you can have repeatable money coming in every single month. So it doesn't matter what niche you're in, whether you're in gardening, fish tanks, biking, coaching, it doesn't matter what it is. You can pretty much apply the same model here where there's some way how you collect the email, you have a front end offer, you have a back end offer, and you're pretty much getting the person to buy more times, spend more with you, and you're pretty much looking for new ways how to get people into the funnel. And that really starts with the front end offer. Like, what are you offering on the front end to get the email? And a powerful way like that you can kind of gamify this to like make it fun where you can actually see your results in time paying off is by just taking like say an average statistic from say email marketing or just the email list. Let's just be absolutely conservative. Let's say each email you have is worth $1. Well, that pretty much means you're making 1K per month. If you have, say, 40,000 emails, that means you're making at least 40K per month. If you have 100,000 emails, that means you're making at least 100K per month. Do you see what I mean? Like, this is how powerful it is, right? But on average, emails can be worth up to $2, $3. So rather than being worth just 40K per month per email, if it's just $1, this could actually mean each email can be making you $80,000 to $120,000 per month if you have 40,000 emails, and each email is worth $2 to $3. And this doesn't include highly lucrative niches, because this varies by niches. Like, for instance, in spirituality, this might be much lower. Whereas, say, in insurance, healthcare, whatever, this could be up to like $50 per email. It's absolutely insane. So the core idea of this video, so I want to make sure that you take away and you can walk away with something practical, and how I'm approaching it, and how I believe it may be useful for you to approach too, is by not really necessarily focus on just getting more followers and building a brand, but more so the machine behind it. Because if you have the proper skeleton, the systems of how you're ascending someone, making more money with them, you have a money printing machine versus just purely relying on more followers. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, subscribe, let me know, comment below, and I will see you in another one. See ya.